It's Friday, it's July 9th, and you are watching The Drive. Welcome to The Drive, and we have a special co-host today, and I guess I'm the host today, where usually you have Daryl here, and today it's myself, Sean Finder, but our co-host today is Ollie Whitfield. Ollie, welcome to The Drive.
It's a $0 to $5 million podcast takeover. We're calling it that. Let's do this.
It certainly is. It certainly is. So let's start off with talking about that. You know, the road ahead and what's coming up. I know we actually had a special recording that you might want to talk about that we did a few days ago as well.
Yeah, we did. So I think Daryl has mentioned a couple of times on this show we've launched a partner program, and we're pretty pleased to say that we're doing that via Partner Stack, which is an amazing tool. Another Canadian company, so props to them. And they've recently had their Series B funding, but we interviewed the co-founder, Bryn Jones. Top tier guest. Top tier. Just look out for that episode. That's all you need to know. Yeah, and even a little bit more. You know, I was just, crazy how we always talk about companies that might have struggled a little bit during COVID, but they really accelerated their growth and saw this 3-4 years ago where people didn't believe in them. So that's a great episode. And if you have a chance, I would definitely listen to Bryn. He brought some great tips on how he went from zero to millions of dollars and raised, I think it was 28 million in his last round. So next we like to talk about, money. Money's going around. There's always new investments. And there was recently Teamwork raises $70 million. Project management tool. We all know everyone needs those project management tools just to make sure that they know what they're supposed to do on a daily basis and the projects that are going on in the organization. What do you think about that, Ollie? About that raise? 70 mil. Damn. Yeah. I don't know what the other vendors in that space have raised, but I used to love Asana. Couldn't really work without it. I think Trello has raised a phenomenal amount. I may be wrong on that, but yeah, it's just strange how there's so many of them and they're all so big. Like, there's not a Salesforce. There's not just one. There's like 20, and they're all as good as each other. I find that a bit weird.
Yeah, and I just think the consolidation of everything, all the tasks and different tasks that go on, the different people involved to bring a project from start to finish. I just think it's so important that you have everything in one place, that everyone has full visibility. You can go in and see what task each person has done, and also see what the start date to those tasks were and what the finish date will be. And then also, obviously, if there's going to be any delays, you can see that right there. So I think it's so important for visibility, especially to have some sort of project management tool. I know I'm very familiar with, like you said, Ollie, Trello, but definitely a big part of every organization. I don't even think an organization can live without it now.
No, I think probably they raised the money. Probably, as always with these things, you're going to end up getting either salespeople or development people. I would imagine, not that I've read the release or anything, developers, more integrations makes them more viable, because I know that our team, our developers use Trello and in amongst other things. But if it doesn't speak to the other tools, the other APIs that they need to work with, it's a waste of time. So I would imagine that's what they're up to. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next section of the show today. And I love this section today. We talk about corporate affairs. And funny enough, two of the companies we're going to talk about are our direct competitors. And a third one is just a company that I really, really love. And the three companies, as we know, are Outreach.io, SalesLoft, and Hubspot. So let's start off with Outreach. Outreach is becoming a sponsor of the 30-Minute to Presence Club podcast. Now, this is not the first company I have seen that has done this. A lot of companies are now sponsoring these podcasts as they continue to get more momentum and obviously get more people listening. What do you think about this? And is this something that I know you're really looking at the 0 to 5 million. Is this something that you're thinking of putting for our show as well, or what do you think about having these sponsors for the podcast?
sponsorships for the 0 to 5 million start a 2 million episode. Just saying. Not quite. But yeah, you know what? This is sort of getting popular now. It's two buddies start off, and I know Nick and Armand quite well. I did a webinar with them. They're really smart people, so I'm not surprised that they got sponsorship. I know that they've been looking around for us for a little while, but if you think about it, Outreach, they bought Sales Hacker, so they're in this world anyway. They get that sort of media play of it. So I'm not surprised that they did it. I'm probably surprised it actually took this long for it, because I know they've had phenomenal download numbers, really, really, really high, much better than a lot of sales podcasts that I know of and have worked with before. So I think we should try and get a sponsor. Like, we have a little ad roll for our partner program in the middle. Maybe there's room for another.
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting is I have a feeling Outreach actually looked at the Sales Hacker podcast and saw the views and saw what they were getting from that and the traction they were getting, the brand awareness they're getting, and must have said, let's look for a few others. Because as you mentioned, Ollie, this is becoming the norm. Companies are now sponsoring these podcasts, and maybe there's a certain amount of downloads you have to have, or a certain amount of people listening to your podcast each week. But I do think it's a great way to put your company out there without doing the traditional email marketing, spamming, etc. So I think it's a great thing Outreach did. Potentially something, once we get a little bit more viewers on ours, we should definitely look at. I'll make sure that I follow up with you on that in a few months. But awesome by Outreach, and that's a great podcast. I've listened to that podcast as well. So the second one's a very interesting one is SalesLoft. So SalesLoft acquires professional service partner in stereo. Now, this I find very interesting, because I know, being the founder of AutoClose and doing some professional services, but not having a full pricing page or having it one of our offering, but just doing it as an ad hoc product for our clients, it can be really, really advantageous to the clients. What do you think about this? And then I'd love to touch upon some other stuff that I can think about.
Yeah, I'm a little confused actually. So this is it in many ways. I think it makes sense. Like, it's just clear and obvious. You buy AutoClose, VanillaSoft, SalesLoft, Outreach, Rant, Groove, freaking however many you want. Who applies it? And really, that's the determining factor on if it's even worth it at all to you. If you do a terrible job using any of them, it doesn't matter. You'll still be terrible. You have terrible results. End of. So if you have someone to help you with it, of course that's going to help. But I find this sort of conflicts with a channel approach or a referral partner approach, where any sales trainer, any sales consultant of their worth of good standing is probably going to have a deal with all of the vendors. That's how they're doing it. They talk to their prospects, they talk to their clients. Boom, which one do you think we should get? This vendor or this one? I have an agreement with both, don't you worry. And they're making a little bit of money from that. But to add the services on it, it kind of, does it shortcut the trainer a little bit? Or does it shortcut that extra third party? I don't know. But I can see why they did this. It makes sense.
See, for me, I love it. I love it. I find it, one thing that people have a big problem doing is, for example, is building out content for any of these tools, like an Outreach or SalesLoft. So, you can purchase a tool, but if you don't know how to write good content or write a good sequence, you're going to go and outsource that anyway. So why should SalesLoft, Outreach, the VanillaSoft, the AutoCloses, etc., why should we allow people to outsource that and pay somebody else to write content when we can just have it all in-house? So I actually love the professional service idea. I think now you give people the ability to help them write sequences. You have professionals that can actually help them throughout what is the best sequence. So you do have the professionals in there. And then funny enough, it was something I thought about a year ago, because we did do some of this. But we obviously at that time didn't acquire a company that was specialized in it. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Outreach follows SalesLoft's footsteps and finds another professional services. And as you know, Ollie, there's tons of people that outsource stuff to agencies and all these other marketing professionals. And why not just bring it all in-house? Collect the revenue yourself, keep them all under one umbrella. I really, really like this move by SalesLoft. But, this time will tell to see if this actually works, because I think they're the first one in the industry to actually acquire a professional services partner.
I would just I wonder how it's going to play out as the customer. I get like their side of it, but for the customer side of it, I would almost argue if you're going to invest that money into that technology, you should be pretty good at writing emails.
You would be surprised.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But like, think about it. You can't just plug it in and blow away how much money and just think, well, it's going to work. And then, we need X more money. I don't know if it's cheaper or expensive or what to have the professional services, but you should already be quite good at it. But, of course, if we could acquire someone who could bring in those expertise, I bet you our CSM team would love that and the clients would too. So I get it on that side.
Yeah, and one more point I wanted to add to that is, say, for example, you can pitch this to your client base, like a SalesLoft client base, and you can now refer everyone to InStereo, even if you get 10, 20% of the revenue from SalesLoft that is going to InStereo. I don't know what InStereo's revenue was pre-acquisition, but you're going to bring a lot of money over the bottom line. So you're going to increase that value really quick by that acquisition. So I actually personally like everything about it, but it'll be interesting to see how it transpires. And the last thing, corporate, another big company, another company that I really, really, really like is HubSpot. So HubSpot is adding some data. And I know you love data, Ollie. So what do you think? I know they're adding, they're talking about how more cold emails are being done right now in North America. And I personally saw this coming because as people didn't work from the office and couldn't make those phone calls, everyone was using email. Email was the number one channel in 2020. But I know, they're talking about the number of sales calls. So I'd love to get your input on some of the statistics that you saw and what you read that HubSpot's doing with their data.
Well, I'm not surprised about website traffic, to be honest. And if you look at the HubSpot data, last year, like the numbers are this big, and then this year they're like twice, 3 times the size. Not that surprised by that. No one's spending events money, or at least possibly they will be now. All of that went somewhere. Could have been SEO, could have been content. Looks like it was. Ad spend as well. I know that we at VanillaSoft have started doing a lot more ABM, so that's ad spend in itself. I imagine a lot of companies are doing that, getting a lot more focused on who they're going to talk to. Sales emails, we know that went up massively. No direct dial information, people on it at the office. Yeah, but do you think our team is sending more emails? Do you think they're keeping on the same level? But like, is that representative of what we're doing?
I definitely think more emails are being sent, but I think we're also now adding in those calls again. Whereas last year we did a lot less calls because people were working from home, and as people start to go back in the office, I think now people are going to use more than just the one channel of email. So I do think calls are going up, but website traffic, I just find everything is getting back to normal. I'm getting back to what those numbers are, and that's why you're seeing all these huge increases. And it's great that HubSpot shows all the statistics because it just shows you that people are buying. And people are back out there prospecting and closing and making sales. So the ad spend, the website traffic, the phone calls, and even the emails have all tremendously increased.
And the weird one that I found, this was really surprising. There was a pipeline created in North America around early part of this year through Q1, sort of start of Q2, and then it stopped. Really, really, really high pipeline, but really, really low deals closed, which I just thought was really odd. I mean, I don't know if in North America things were really different, but here everything was quite bad in early Q1, and then it's been a lot better since. So a lot less economic uncertainty and stuff like that. But I just thought, how have we got that much pipeline? And this is at the point where there's not so many emails and stuff like that. It was a bit of a curveball to me, but I don't know.
Well, I think pipeline was continuing to do okay. People might have not been purchasing in Q1, Q2, but I do think people were still showing interest because I think in everyone's head was at some point it's going to go back to normal. It's going to end. So I think the number one thing is people also, when they couldn't spend as much time, putting RFPs together, quotes together and all that stuff during the first 2 quarters, they were really spending a lot of time. Let me make sure I fill that top of the sales funnel, fill that funnel so that when things are getting back to normal and there's more calls and more sales and we're back in the office, I'm ready with a full pipeline. So I think some people, maybe strategically did that, but definitely very interesting. So let's go on. And this one is going to be one that I'm sure Ollie's going to want to discuss in depth is water cooler talk. Lots of sporting events going on at the moment. It's funny because we have Wimbledon, and I'm, as you guys hopefully know, I'm a former tennis player and big tennis fan. So seeing the Canadian in the semifinals makes me very happy. But I know Ollie's very happy for some other reasons. Why don't you tell everyone why you're happy, Ollie?
Oh man, you don't even know the pain my throat is in as we speak right now. What day was it? Was it Wednesday? Yeah. So England made their first finals since the year 1966. So obviously way before I was born. I've never known this. The entire country can't believe it. Just as the timing coincides, we've been able to go out and actually watch the match at a bar with our friends for the first time in like 2 years. No one in our country is able to talk right now. The throats and the voices are all gone. So I just love it. It's a nice welcome change and it's good fun. Hopefully on Sunday, the team do us proud and they take it home. But I've seen a few times. I don't know what you think of this. I don't really have a preference at this point. When people say stuff like, you know, go Patriots or something, if they can tell you support the Patriots in their outreach to you, or, you know, good luck to the Canadian guy in Wimbledon or whatever as a little PS to show that they've researched you. Do you care about that? Does the sport thing mean too much to you? Do you kind of brush it off, or does it, you know, signal that there's a bit of effort there too? Do you pay attention to that?
That's a great question. And funny enough, it was actually a strategy that I had our sales team use last year. So last year when Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I actually had everyone do a LinkedIn search of our buyer persona, find out everyone in Kansas City, and reach out to only people for 5 days from Kansas City. And in the subject line, talk about Patrick Mahomes, talk about the Super Bowl. And let me tell you, the reason why it works, Ollie, is it puts that prospect in a positive mindset right away. When you bring up the championship, or if England won and somebody messaged you, Ollie, on LinkedIn and talks about England, I am 100% sure you are replying to that person. So differentiate yourself from your competitors. It puts that person in a positive mindset. You might not make the sale, but either way, you're going to build that relationship, and it's going to give you that way to break the ice right away. So when you do try and go in with your value props, they're more likely to listen. So I am 100% for using sporting events, using something that's going on in the world that will put somebody in a positive mindset. Now, if it's a negative mindset, it's a different scenario. However, to talk about, for example, somebody that has an interest in tennis and talk about Denis Shapovalov making the semifinals of Wimbledon is only going to help you and not hurt you. So, Ollie, the answer to your question is yes, I am totally for it.
So you think it's a good thing, just so we're sure, right?
I'm not saying I would answer it, but I do have it is successful for salespeople.
I got you. So, well, that's interesting. You used it so strongly and upfront, like as a leading thing to get the open and stuff like that. I've had it before where it's like a PS right at the depth of the email. You barely even notice it sometimes, and it's kind of like template and then space for one tiny little sentence at the end where they research for 4 seconds and saw I was from England. And now obviously you're going to write that. But yeah, so you've led with literally subject line, and you're like the quarterback's name or whoever, right? Or the coach's name. That's how strongly you went to that. So maybe in a couple of days I'll get like Harry Kane subject line, or I'll get like Sir Gareth Southgate or something.
Ollie, you can score the shootout winner. I actually used it in the subject. I used it in the subject line. So we actually did use it in the subject line, or in the first 3 seconds of the body, one of the two. So
okay,
definitely does work. But a lot going on in sports. You know, there's also the NBA championships. NHL just finished, so a lot of cool things going on. And I'm a big sports guy, so happy times here in July with everything that's going on in the sports world. But let's move on to our last section of the show, which is one of my favorites, Ollie's Rant. Let's give it a listen.
All right, here we go. Have you ever felt a little bit tired of social media? I definitely have, 100%. I probably even am at this moment in time as I say this. But have you ever said or posted something like, hey, everyone, just want to let you know, I'm taking a break from this for a little while. I'll be back next week. Don't miss me too much. I hope everybody will carry on as they are. I need to peace out for a little bit. Really? I mean, really? Has anybody ever lost sleep over someone not posting on LinkedIn for a day or two, or a long weekend, or a week off, or a 2-week vacay? No. We think we're way too important. Maybe I'm just on my soapbox a little bit, but Sean, what do you think, man?
Well, I can't agree with Ollie anymore. I find that people announce on LinkedIn all the time, well, I'm going on vacation with my family for 3 days, so like I won't be posting till Monday. And to be honest, LinkedIn needs to start just pushing value, pushing content and value. We don't, a lot of people put their personal stuff on there, fine, but to know if you're going on vacation or you took the afternoon on, or if you went for a lunch break for an hour and you're not going to message and leave a message for an hour, I am totally with the rant that Ollie said today. I wish people would be less personal online and more value than to just talk about themselves and what they're doing. So Ollie, 100% with you on the rant this week. Love the rant. It actually made me smile.
You know what? I just find it so confusing. The best way to get some likes and stuff like that on LinkedIn is to talk about LinkedIn. You could be a salesperson, you could be a marketer, you could be a tennis player. But if you talk about LinkedIn and personal branding, you're 10 times better off. And that's when you get to say, oh, I'm not posting for the next week. I'm taking some, time away to recollect my thoughts. Think about my content. Your content is LinkedIn. So I get frustrated by it. That's the sign to me that I should take a break. But there you go.
No, but we love listening to you on LinkedIn, Ollie. But that was great, Ollie. Thanks for the show. The Drive, Friday, July 9th. We will see you next week on July 16th. And then over the next week, I'm sure next week you'll see Ollie will be either in a very, very good mood or a very, very bad mood. Everyone, enjoy your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week on The Drive.